And again, we don't really need this at all now. Let's see, init hardpoint. Here's a good. Let's copy this. Good candidate to get put into the message database. So alright, we got ourselves a new message in there now. 41. I'll just put that there and we'll I'll make sure it can be aired out, so I'll be able to know what it is, and well, we can just do it. ms dot version mp dot r mr message 41. Yeah. So where is this stupid function at? Does it even exist anymore? That's a good question. Let's see. Ship. There's init hardpoint. Maybe that's what it is now. Or is that what's commented off? Okay, it is init h point. Alright, so let's go and see what So, I don't think we actually executed that way anymore. That's why it's commented off. It's because it's no longer used in that fashion. Which would make sense, because now we're just essentially taking the item and directly, executing through the... Yeah, so we just take the I code and so we need to excuse me, do here as well is have if statements that will be caught or hit when the particular type of hardpoints have been filled. and there's no more of them. So there's a message to the player stating that. Well, there's an interesting rub, though. We want to do it for the player but not the hostile. But how do we do it for only the player and not the hostile if we're going to be using the same functions? You may have to do two different versions of this particular class here. Everything else can be the same, but just this particular, or not class, function will have to be duplicated. So we have one that does have messages and one that doesn't. So the AI is not gonna, need messages, because the AI can't read. It's illiterate and stupid because it didn't get past high school, or rather, I guess it'd be the 3rd grade. But so we have to do that. Let's go ahead and make this. This will be the player function, and we'll do the hostile AI function right afterwards. So else. So we're going to have to create several new things here. No more laser hard points available. Available. Let's see, I think that's how it's properly spelled, but we'll seek the wisdom of Microsoft Word, just to be sure. Alright, so available. And essentially we just want to do this over and over again. That laser probably did one too many. Oops. Hard points. No more missile hard points available, matey. That'd be the pirate version of the message. Rail gun. Let's make this hard points. Bleh. Sounds really crappy. Let's actually use what they are. No more open, I'll say. Open or no, let's not say. Let's go unused. Open will be maybe for ammunition or something. I did do one too many. No more unused. All right. So 42 to 45. So else if type equals technically we don't even have to do the type for this. We just say, else if LH points. Well, no, yeah, we should do type, because if we don't do type, then it'll hit that no matter what. So if we hit this, if this is true, or trying to add a missile, it'll still hit this, because this will technically be true. Because we'll just be checking for if the LH points is greater than or is at least equal to SLB, and so it'll screw it up. So now we have to do the check as well. So LH points, and we're going to say is greater or equal to, just in case there's ever some kind of bug that makes the value go over SLB. So that's kind of a preventative bug compensation thing. In case there's a future bug that causes that, it won't cause the game to crash or have weird effects. Count mp dot mr message 42. So we are doubling the size of it, but again, like I said, there's just some cases you just have to make a lot of code and then come back through one time or another and figure out how to make it smaller. In this case, I don't think there's a way to make it smaller. And you'd have to do this exact same thing either way. Unless you pair them off as a if-else kind of thing. If this, else, then this, instead of a if, else if, else if, else if. And that would cut down on needing to use this, but it wouldn't make too much sense. Oh, damn. I did miss one, never mind. Missed bomb holds. Sound's gonna be 46. Alright. So this goes through now, and like I mentioned how it would work. If it goes through and at some point there are no more open laser hardpoints, it hits this and then displays that particular message to the player. Now we need to copy this, and then we need to strip out everything we just added. Probably should have done this first. So we're going to say init hostile hardpoints. Alright. Actually, it should just be not hostile, but just say AI. Going to pause the recording for a second here. Just checking how much space we had left and trying to preempt the 126 gigabyte of death problem that PlayClaw has. Alright, so we got that in. We'll only change it to AI H point, but simple change. Damn it. Not UI. Alright, so I think everything else should be the same in terms of what needs to be done with that. Everything else can just stay the same. Although I probably should check just to make sure. Well, yeah, because this code here probably needs to be changed to account for the new data recovery method, or retrieval method. Well, retrieval, yeah, no, recovery is a different thing. It would be retrieval, not recovery. Although it could work both ways. So what we need to do is to so it's going to be initialize hardpoint, I believe, or something around in there. I guess it's iWeapon. But we need to go check the hardpoint class, just to make sure there's nothing we need to change. I don't think there is, but there could be. hpweapon.iweapon.icode. So iWeapon is an initialized weapon, which is in the weapon class. So we may not need this iWeapon in here. It might have been moved to weapon. We'll have to see. If not, then we need to move it because that's where it should be. Yeah, iWeapon. So the question is, why is there one in ship for? Oh, I see. Okay, so we go to this iWeapon, and then we call the iWeapon from here. hpweapon.iweapon. So the hardpoint. So each one of these classes has their own specific HP weapon reference to the type of weapon that they are, and we use that to interact with the weapon class directly. So iWeapon is called first. So essentially we're going in here and we're saying if the item exists, I guess. Or weapon type. Interesting. So get weapon type, icode equals 1. Oh, okay, so that was for the determining what type of weapon it was. Now we can do that because So we can either do what we did with ship, which was just to pass, or well, not. What was it? Was it ship? Or was it up here in the H point? We can just pass the type, or we could leave it this way. I'd rather pass the type because I want to try and keep the number of times the game has to access, to query the database to a minimum, because that does take up some CPU power, and if there are battles going on everywhere, because in the full version of the game there'll be essentially battles between different factions going on at different times in the background that the player won't be able to see. And so, while this won't probably stay the same, if it does stay at least somewhat the same, then in the full version of the game, then that's going to be a problem. So let's just say we'll pass through string weapon type, and that'll replace this. We haven't added in the other types either. I'll have to create some heavy weapons too. So I'm adding this stuff in, but I haven't actually added in the weapons yet for those these particular types. So what we want to do is essentially say alright, just grab that. Okay. So, our mounts. That's the beauty of using the same handle for different classes, is that we just leave it the same. And it works for all different types. Maybe we could figure out a way to make this a little more streamlined. Instead of re-accessing this, we're running that size operation. Well, it's perfectly reasonable. Jeez. Excuse me. We could store that value into a variable and just use that. Now we'll leave it with this. That's fine. Don't want to make it too complicated or too bloated. with random, variables holding things if we don't have to. So it's not necessary to do it, so I don't think we'll do it. I think that's everything. So I need to find all references to this. Player. Oh, that's for the, okay, yeah, that's for the, player class thing whenever we're setting it up. Again, we don't need this anymore. We'll just take that out. The starting, ship information. Interesting. We're talking about the ship version of it, though, which I am not seeing called. It's actually not even part of this anymore. Oh, never mind. It is, but I've added that in there. Sure. Ship.h. Let's go and add that type in. Weapon, weapon. So it's not actually called, apparently, which is interesting. So essentially what this says is it returns if the weapon was successfully added or not. Which will probably have to do with the like the station class or something. Maybe that's why I can't find it. It's because it's in the station class somewhere, or has yet to be added. We could use it for the